Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to import the high score system into the multiple mazes project. But before we do that, there's one quick thing I want to go over, and that is the pellets in maze list. So what you want to do with the pellets in the maze list is that for the type of maze that it is, the number maze that it is, is you want to put the number of pellets that there are in the maze. You're going to have to count them by hand, unfortunately. So, yeah, if there are too little pellets, then the maze will not end at all. But if you put too many, the maze it'll end too early. Well, actually, if you put too many in the list, it's that the maze won't end at all. But if you put too little in the list, the maze will end too early. So, now on to what you've been waiting for. Now, let's just import some scripts. So let's import this script. You can find it in the high score project. It's just under the spawn clones block. Import all of it. So we can just throw away this. So basically what this does is just adds a few extra scripts for the high score clones and uses a variable known as score type to determine which type of score variable it is. So let me just clean up that. And then want to import this script. It can be found under this when I start as a clone block, and it's the last if condition. So we can throw this away and put this in. Basically, this accounts for the high score. It adds scripts to account for what the high score clones do. So, clean up that. And then there's one last script that we want to put in the stage sprite. And it's this script. We'll click this block to set the high score to 10,000, and then we'll put this here. What this does is that it sets the high score to the score if the score is greater than it. And then we encounter the bug. What's the bug exactly? Well, it's because all the score sprites are showing on the title. And if we start the game, the score clones will not show. I'm just going to turn down my volume because my volume may be a bit too loud. And also, if you notice here, some more clones are here showing here. Well, the thing is, they're not actually clones. They're actually part of clones. So if we go to the board sprite, we can see that there is another number that was used in the original system to account for the high score. We don't want those anymore, so just go into the costume editor and delete them. Just give me a second to delete all of these. There we go. Now let's go on to the actual problem. And it's nothing to do with the script itself. Well, technically it is, but it's more so the variable score type. And it's because it's set to be for all sprites, as you can see, and not for this sprite only. So, there are actually 3 ways to set this variable to be for this sprite only. The first step is to just delete this variable and then create an entire new variable in place of it. So that, just in case for you to know all the locations of the score types that you have to replace. So, there's one at the beginning of the spawn clone script here. There's one on down here, but right before the first repeat 7 loop. And then one right after that first repeat 7 loop at the bottom of the script. Then we go to this long line of code. There's 1 checking if score type equals 2, and the game is not equal to intermission, because this is just to show us to make the high score not show during the intermissions. And then there's 1 over here, checking if score type is equal to 1. And there's 1 over here, checking if score type is equal to 2. So let's just go back. Alright. And then there's one last one over here, checking if score type is equal to 1. So that way they know to switch costumes according to the score, not the high score. So, now let's go on to the second method. That is, if you have Scratch add-ons, you can rename or edit the variable, and you can actually set it for this sprite only. And then there's the third and final method. GriffPatch actually made a tutorial on how to change a variable that is for all sprites for this sprite only. I'll even link in the description for that. But if you have Scratch add-ons, this is the easiest way to do it. And Scratch add-ons is completely free, so yeah, I could just download it, enable so that way you can edit the variables to be for all sprites or for this sprite only. And yeah, there you go. And to just show you that it does in fact work, it does. See, the lives are no longer showing. And if we start the game, the score actually shows and works. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I came into this completely blind. Well, I actually made one recording before, but for some reason my audio didn't record for that. So, see you later, I guess. See you next time.